Welcome back and thank you very much indeed. This is TV3Newday and many thanks indeed for your time. Join us on our social media handles. Hashtag is TV3Newday. For those who like us and those who don't like us, we're happy that you watch us anyway. The hashtag is TV3Newday. Make your comments known. And big congratulations to Dr. Deacon Kingsford Kwame Hine and Stephanie Safo Abaka Akwa. You're getting married tomorrow, Saturday, the 11th of June at the Wesley Methodist Cathedral in Edum, Kumasi. It's the Presbyterian guest house where the reception will happen. So congratulations to you. We love you and we appreciate you. And from Latif Abubakar, the Globe Productions, to all of you could make it yesterday to the Spain-Ghana musical concert on behalf of the Honorable Dr. Mohamed Awal as well, Minister for Tourism, Arts and Culture. We say congratulations to you and thank you very much indeed this morning. I came to dance and celebrate and enjoy great Ghanaian and what do you call it? Spanish. Oh, say I'm not part. The new publisher says government moves to get more ICT innovation hubs. Danger alert, low quality goods flood markets. Delay in passing standards law, slowing industry growth. And Ikrapim North NPP gets interim executives. On Monday, our government will speak on the embattled UEW registrar hiding behind education minister to reject his accumulated leave. The Ghanaian Observer is next. It says Bawumia launches no guarantor student loan policy for tertiary students. Akufo-Addo kickstarts Green Ghana campaign today. President commissions state-of-the-art infant cereal plant. The ABC News, Bawumia launches no guarantor system student loan. Stephen and team picks nomination forms. Parliament must stay away from 2020 elections. Also, BNFT, guarantors no longer required to access student loans. Beware of juicy offers from financial institutions. Bank of Ghana educates immigration officers on financial literacy. MPs back Standards Authority bill and Gridco to spend $990 million to build robust transmission system. The Republic Press, 4 armed robbery suspects grabbed. Minority to impede passage of government bills over delays in LGBTQI bill passage. There's no ex gratia in the constitution, according to former Lands Minister lawyer Inusa Hussaini. Mosquito joins fight against Dufour, and Adomotri can't criticize other chiefs like he did to Togbe Apede, according to Kwesi Pratt. Anti-gay MPs fight homo billboards, and Sam George and his team have said, notice that, well, if it's not taken down today, they will go and take it down as citizens. The Inquisitor, Ghana confirms 77 influenza AH3 positive cases. Also, today is Green Ghana Day. Get involved. Pick free seedlings from the Forestry Commission district offices or other designated points nationwide. Red alert, Chado, center of land commotion. And Green Ghana Day, let's go planting 20 million trees. Interesting. The picture that's used there looks like me. I have a picture like that on the Green Republic page. Interesting, eh? The Informer newspaper, Nilante in trouble over Chimota land forest. NDC's growth trajectory, Rawlings power to the people. Plus, Atamil's I Care For You, Dufour's Ahunto project. Okay. Hooray, NDC at 30 today. That's what is being said there. And the Accra Times, pick a seedling, plant it. Minister urges Ghanaians to support Green Ghana project. Charles Bisu is the answer to break the 8 jinx delegates proclaim as he gets ready to become General Secretary of the NPP, one of the contenders. Encroachers grab 80% of Adentan's CSIR lands. Lands Minister responds to Adentan MP. And President spearheads Green Ghana today. Last year was the same. The Daily Statement, no guarantor student loan policy takes off. And BCU picks nomination for the NPP General Secretary slot. My guest in studio, Kamal Dean Abdullahi. He is a Deputy National Communications Director of the NPP and a former National Nasara Coordinator. And also Mr. Bernard Mona. He is Chairman of the PMC, yes. Acting Chairman of the PMC. Former Chairman of the PMC, I beg your pardon. Forgive me. Good morning, gentlemen. And thank you very much for your time.
Good morning. Johnny.
Kamal, what are you celebrating? You are white.
I'm a lover of white, and actually. I mean, blue and white are my colors, basically. So, maybe you could say that I'm always in the mood of celebration, because I'm a lover of the color. Nothing much, but to say that we are thankful to Almighty Allah for where we are. We are thankful that He's keeping us alive and protecting our leaders and assisting them get the wisdom to, enhance their leadership skills in terms of handling this nation, as it were. So, all is well.
Chairman,
boss,
how are you?
I could have been better.
But
for the precarious economic circumstances that underlie our living of recent, one would have said you would be better. Everything is nyama basa. It appears that our leaders don't understand what it is to call priority, what it is to attend to as emergency, and they keep throwing our resources to things that do not enhance the immediate well-being of a people. And we are told that when a soldier is hungry, you can be assured that the guns will not be pointed at the enemy, but even to the friends. And so when citizens are crying that economic situations is such dire, and you see the vulgarity that is being perpetuated by government in releasing resources for a phantom project called National Cathedral, where my brother Kamaldeen will not participate in worship, where those of us who go to make libation will not participate. In a secular state, when the president decides to take religious discriminated property or investment, then you know that we are in crisis. Then you turn around to say that there is heightened terrorism threat in the country. If your president decides that you are going to magnify one religion by the construction of a cathedral, where you initially even told us you were not going to spend anything, it was going to be evolution, and all of a sudden we see the state giving out such huge sums of money at a time when farmers are not able to do planting, at a time when input costs is on the high, then you can understand the level of venom. But people are quiet, and because everything is, we call it cow dung fire. You know cow dung? Cow dung fire. He understands what it means to say cow dung fire. You see the cow dung, if there is fire inside it, you don't actually know there is fire, but it's burning, the inferno is down. You step on it, then you realize that there is fire. Hot. So the system may appear to be quiet, you think that everything is okay. But those of us who understand what cow dung fire is, Ghana is indeed a typical example of a cow dung fire.
Okay, well, join us with your thoughts and comments.
I think I should have a bite on that.
Which bite? When you did I bite on yours?
Let me have a bite.
Which bite?
Take a minute.
Is it a kose bite or kuli?
You can choose to say that it could have been better, even when you are visibly looking better.
Okay? Yeah, I keep.
I'm saying that you can choose. Oh, please. You can choose to say that it could have been better, even when visibly those watching us see you as fit, strong, looking shiny and great. Okay? But you see, my brother, where I want to touch on is where he actually veered into, which has to do with the National Cathedral and the importance of sin. I have always maintained that even though I'm a Muslim and I believe in Islam and I believe in the tenets of Islam, as it were, but Christians are my brothers. And in fact, I refer to them as my brothers and sisters. You know why?
No.
When you even come to Islam, when the Prophet Muhammad was persecuted in Mecca, where he was born and lived for so many years, God gave him a direction that moved to Abyssinia, today Ethiopia. Your brothers are there. The Christians, then the old Christians, were referred to as the brothers of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam to go to them. You see, I see the importance of the cathedral so long as it actually falls in line with the Christian worship. Because with all respect, I'm coming. My brother says, where Kamal would not worship, where those who pour libation would not worship. Practically, yes. In principle, you can say that. Right. But I'm saying that to foster that unity, to bring us together, we need to have that religious diversity and understand ourselves and tolerate ourselves and move on as a people with a common destiny.
Mr. Kenneth Fureta was in Parliament and said it will not cost us a penny. In fact, Archbishop Nicholas Duncan Williams said that we should not oppose it.
If you read the portion of the budget, which I cannot quote verbatim,
allow me.
The budget
not
that
this year.
actually announced, not this
before,
year, the budget that announced the construction of the cathedral,
right.
It said the state will partner with what? Private people,
right,
or partner with some private entities to set up that.
This is what Mr. Fureta says. Says, Mr. Speaker,
I'm saying,
the president is determined that the building of the National Cathedral would not put undue financial burdens on the state. So this was in the budget presentation of 2019, November 15, for 2018. In 2018,
emphasis on undue financial burden. Does it mean that there's no finances?
But people are complaining.
No, with all respect, please. I'm coming. Emphasis on undue financial. You are quoting him and trying to say that he said it wouldn't cost Ghana a penny, and I'm saying that is a fallacy. That's not true.
But the land costs
money.
What you just read, costs money.
I am saying
demolition the judges' homes costs money. Relocating the judges costs money.
What you just read defeats your position of saying that.
I don't have a position. I'm asking you a question.
No, you said that kind of writer said that it will not cost Ghana a penny, and I'm saying that is not true.
Undue financial.
That does not translate to. That does not translate.
But then I'm sure
not costing.
I'm sure you heard Archbishop Nicholas Duncan Williams say we should not oppose the National Cathedral because state funds will not be used to. This has been said over and over again.
I'm saying
government officials
you are
changing the narrative
from a document that is the fiscal policy or forms the fiscal policy of Ghana,
right? Out
of which you are quoting. And before you even quoted, you did say and indicated to many here that the finance minister said that it will not cost Ghana a penny. And I'm saying that is a fallacy.
Did the government, just admit that? Did the government, I'm not supposed to be admitting things to you.
No.
Did the government not say that this National Cathedral was not going to be funded by the state?
The government says it would not unduly put financial pressure on Ghana. Does not mean that at least you will not spend some money on it.
So the government was telling
the land itself is money. The land is money.
Right.
Judges were being housed in some houses.
Right.
They have to move.
Right.
That is money.
Right.
So for you to sit here and say that the indication was that it will not cost Ghana money at all, it's not true. That's what
so far the money spent, over 200 million, was what was envisaged when we were telling the people that it will not put undue pressure on our country.
I just want us to make a position clear. Which position is that those who are of the view, maybe including you, that government said not even a dime will be spent, from the state. It's not true.
You have belabored that point.
I am saying
the 200 million that is being spent now, which we have evidence of, was that what government envisioned when it said that it will not put undue pressure on our stakeholders?
Hughes, you also would have to agree with me that
you have not answered
the 200 million is not in its entirety the cost of the cathedral, is it? No.
Right.
Absolutely. It's part of it. Okay? And I'm not, of course, it's a huge sum of money. We could have used it for other stuff and all that. But the government has a commitment. From what you even read, there was a commitment. And that commitment has actually been shown that we have done X, Y, Z so far. Yes, people could raise red flags to say, look, I don't agree with government spending even $1 or even one cedi in that project. You have the opportunity. But government did not indicate to us, and I'm repeating that, that I will not spend money at all. That is why I said that even the acquisition of the land alone, and even moving some structures that were there to relocate them and get them other places involves money. So if anybody who says that government indicated it will not spend a penny or a dime in it is not true.
Okay.
You may disagree with government, but government has to spend some money. And I'm saying that the 200 million does not form the entire amount that we need to put up that cathedral. That is why I emphasize that private people will be partnered with, would come in. We have seen people donating. We have seen even the chief imam donated at a point where it raised a lot of issues. Why should chief imam donate? And that is why I made the point that, look, Christians are our brethren. We cannot say that Christians are not our brothers. They are our brothers, and we can all have to tolerate each other and work in unison to be able to get this Ghana move forward.
Okay, so here's you have an opportunity. I want to so this is on Monday the 13th of March 2017. 70, says government is not financing the National Cathedral for Christians in the country, but only facilitating its construction. Reverend Dr. Kwabena Oponifrimpong, General Secretary of the Christian Council of Ghana, has said. Now, it goes on to say that his comment comes amid growing controversy over the purported construction of the National Cathedral for interdenominational prayers for Christians. President Akufo-Addo cut short for the construction of the chapel to mark the 60th anniversary of the country. The president cut short on the morning of the 60th Independence Day of the National Scholarship Secretariat. James Kwabena Bonfe, so Kabila took it to court and all of that. But this is clear by Reverend Oponifrimpong that, well, the government will not sponsor it. Take a listen to Archbishop Nicholas Danka Williams.
Means something.
Well, take a listen to that video and we'll get back into the studio.
As I have already said, that this is prophecy coming to pass. Number two, this is biblically correct. Number three, this is not about the president or the presidency or any political party. This is about God, country, posterity, and generations yet more. And only time and eternity will reveal that for which we are gathered here today. Anything that is possible is not God. God never gives anybody a possible task. He gives us impossible tasks. So that when it is done, all will acknowledge the rule, the intervention, and the place of divinity. So as challenging, as complicated, as difficult as this project may be, I am persuaded with everything in me that this is of God and is biblically correct. And ladies and gentlemen, all of us who got involved or opposed it will be judged by posterity. The role we play for or against will be judged by posterity. Whether we will rise on the right side of history or on the wrong side of history will be determined by our attitude. The stand we take for or against, I submit to you and persuade you by the message of God that for once, let us not subject this.
Okay, so here we go. Wow. So Sam Jatta George has joined us. He's the Member of Parliament for the Ningo Pram constituency. And yesterday he had served notice that today, if the authorities do not act, they will pull down a certain billboard. We'll get into that conversation shortly. Sam, welcome.
Thank you very much.
How are you doing?
Very well. Tired, but very well.
Is this the dress code for pulling down billboards?
Oh, no, there's no need for it. The state authorities have complied, so...
They have pulled down the billboard?
Yes. But I thought we would talk about Cathedral before.
Oh, you want to talk about Cathedral?
Oh, why not?
Oh, okay. But that's not what we... by so Sam can have it. But let's go to the matters.
I am heavily disappointed in the pronouncement of Kamal this morning in relation to not looking into people and seeing that the current economic circumstances does not permit profligate spending. And that when the president himself admits that things are unwell for our economy, for which reason he's asking his appointees to cut down their incomes to the extent that the Council of State that money will be refunded to, and then people who even attack the person who refunded the money have also decided to cut down their expenditures, just so to cushion the economy, to ensure that we are able to support the economy. At the same time, you are spending within a week 57 million cedis, 32 in payment for the architects and the designs they have done, 25 to promote the construction works of the facility. This is to add to others that have already been spent on an edifice that will not serve anybody's interest, but to serve the president's personal commitment to God. That this is what I choose. I make a promise to God that when I become president, what is the president's promise to God got to do with my promise?
He said he will bring the mercies and grace of God on us.
You understand? What has the president's request to God got to do with me? And you sit here to support the idea that we should put in money. Look, I was born into Catholic Church. As we speak today, the Catholic Church priorities does not include the National Cathedral. Every month we contribute money to support the Fiapri University, the Catholic University, because it is the priority of the Catholic Church. There are many cathedrals in this country that the church by its own self has built. It is not for any reason that the state is not allowed in other jurisdictions to participate in religious, what do we call it? Religious establishment.
So you don't support the national?
It is a useless thing. It will bring about division in this country, and it will magnify the threat of terrorism.
How?
Why? You don't know how terrorism starts. People who disagree with you, and particularly when the state has chosen to state that they will spend resources in building a national cathedral and not building a national shrine for us, you think that we'll be happy?
But you just said you're a Catholic. How do Catholics worship in shrines?
We have shrines.
You, as
I was born into a Catholic home, or you don't understand was.
Okay. You were, but now you...
I was born into a Catholic home.
But now you worship in shrines.
So if you don't build for us a national shrine, probably in Nogopo, or you don't go and build for us a mosque, probably in Sankana, and you come and build a national cathedral in Accra, you have created religious discrimination.
There's already a Turkish...
Is it government of Ghana?
It is not.
So we are talking about the massive investment that the state is putting at a time, and I'm telling you that, look, just check the papers and you don't read them in details. Food has become a problem for many Ghanaians. Electricity has become a rare commodity for many Ghanaians. Water has become a commodity that is difficult to come by because of the escalating prices. At the same time, when our inflation and everything is nyama like that, you can get up and be doling money to go and construct a church. I'm sure that if God is a living God, by now punishment should have been meted out of those who are releasing monies recklessly like that in His name.
God is a living God, as far as I know. Sam, good morning.
Morning.
Your thoughts on the national
and good morning to everybody. I'll start from where...
This was impromptu.
I'll start from where Bernard ended off in your comments. God is indeed a living God.
It is. He is.
And so there is no if about that. I am setting in my mind... I am setting in my mind about the existence and efficacy of God. He is a God of justice, and He's a God of love. And so there is no doubt in my mind. On the issue of a national cathedral, I have no problem with a cathedral being built in principle. But I have a problem with the cathedral being built as it's being built.
Right.
If there was a national discourse and if the church in Ghana, the body of Christ in Ghana, decided they wanted to build a cathedral, they would have built for themselves a cathedral. Like has been said, this whole talk about the national cathedral, we were told was by the president himself, was a personal pledge he made to God. We must be able to distinguish between the passing of the president and his wishes and the presidency, which accounts and holds and trusts resources for the people of Ghana. If it was the president's wish to own a private jet in which he can take a bath in, must the taxpayer fund it? That's the extent to which, if you don't draw the distinction between personal wishes of the person occupying the office and what are the demands of the presidency, the office itself, you begin to have gray areas where these issues will arise. You're building a 5,000-seater capacity cathedral using taxpayers' money. Again, a deviation from what we were told, that we're told no public funds will be used. You were playing the voice of the Archbishop Nicholas Duncan Williams, and I've seen many people in the NPP play that voice and use that and say he supports it. If you listen to him, his argument was premised on one fact: no public funds will be used.
That's right. So we should not criticize it.
He said The president says no public funds will be used because that's what the president said to the clergy when he met them. The president lied to the clergy. Oh yes. You meet men of God, men who carry the anointing of God, God's oracle in this country, and you look them in the face and say to them that this is the plan, we would not use taxpayers' money. You turn around and use taxpayers' money without recourse to them. You send them out to put up defense for the project because as far as they are concerned, taxpayers' money will not be used. He lied to them. Very unfortunate. And he may have to go and see his priest and have a confession and pray for absorption of that lie. But you see, for me, several things rise up.
Like?
When the 32 million was paid to Mr. David Ajayi, he was not a qualified architect in Ghana. That's something people have failed to realize. He was not an architect qualified and licensed to practice in Ghana.
Because he was just sworn in recently, right? In the office of the
minister.
Right.
Barely months, like 3 months ago.
It's actually not 3 months.
You get it? So at the time, the government paid 32 million to David Ajayi. So for me, these are the critical issues I'm interrogating. You paid our taxpayers' money to someone who was not qualified to practice his craft. He could be the best in the world. You can go and bring Johnny Cochran. If Johnny Cochran is not called to the Ghanaian bar, he cannot have audience before the Supreme Court of Ghana. Those are professional ethics. So he could be the one who designed the International Space Station. For all we care. Was he licensed to practice in Ghana? No. Our president paid our taxpayers' money to someone who was not who was not licensed to practice in Ghana.
Was it paid to him individually or to the company that he...
the company is what?
But it's not a one-man company.
No, what is the company's name? Ajayi and Associates. Who put in the bid? Who is the lead for the company? Who is the government telling us is building and designing? Did they say is Associates or Ajayi? So, and look at the payment memo that went out.
Paid money to a company that was not registered.
A company that had an owner that is not licensed to operate in Ghana. What are we talking about? You understand me? That for me is one. Two, you look at how much money has been sunk in. 200 million. That's still at foundation level.
We're building first.
Foundation level, 200 million. I thought this building was supposed to cost around 200 and something million in total. That's what we were told.
Ghana cedis?
Yes.
No, that's not what it is.
Yes.
No, cross-checking.
That's where we are.
No,
now, you are building a 5,000 capacity seater cathedral, and you tell me that will bring tourism to Ghana. It's not true. Go to Ivory Coast. Have you been to Ivory Coast before?
Right.
Have you been to Ivory Coast before?
Yamoussoukro. They have a big...
When you went to Ivory Coast, did you go and visit the St. Paul Basilica?
No.
Have you been to Ivory Coast before? Come out there. Have you been to Ivory Coast before? When you went there, did you go and visit the cathedral? That's a no.
But others
You've been... Oh, wait. Have you been to Ivory Coast before?
Severally.
Have you visited the St. Paul's Basilica?
Not once.
I have been to Ivory Coast. I haven't.
We're only four.
It's a microcosm of this country. Our next door neighbor. We have visited the severally. The cathedral is not one of the... In fact, go to the St. Paul's Basilica. It is in a dilapidated state. The cost of maintenance is becoming a burden to the Ivorian government.
But the government insists there's a missing link that has to be filled by this cathedral.
National Theatre. National Theatre. Has your government been able to manage the National Theatre? The last time I went there, February 14th, for Kwabna's Vita Milk Love Show, I left there with a back pain. Not because I danced too much to Kwabna, but because the seats at the National Theatre are a spinal cord injury causing device.
You want to say Kwabna did not perform, that's why you were saying.
No.
No,
that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying the chairs there can cause you a spinal injury.
I hear you.
We have not been able to manage it.
Let's wrap up.
Yet you tell me that this is going to bring tourism. Why would I come as a tourist to come and see a 5,000 cathedral when Perez Chapel has a 14,000 seater? When Archbishop Duncan Williams has like an 8,000 seater, when the Church of Pentecost has almost a 20,000 seater. So if it is about the auditoriums, we have cathedrals, we have auditoriums that outshine, and that the National Cathedral in its current shape and design cannot even match up to the oil dome.
But we have started
the oil
already.
dome that Apostle General is.
Right.
I honestly believe that. Look,
We have started already. What do you do?
well, I believe that people will have to answer questions eventually for causing financial loss to the state. If the church wants to have its own joint cathedral, look, if you're not careful, this cathedral, if and when it gets completed, will become the biggest challenge to the body of Christ. Mark these words.
Oh, why do you say that?
Oh, yes.
You're an elder of the church. Oh.
Absolutely, and that's why I'm worried. Because you see, with the, for want of, forgive my Greek, want of a better phrase, with the nonsense going on with this LGBTQ, none of the fathers of the church would solemnize a gay marriage in their cathedrals.
No.
None. None. The Methodists will not do it. The Presbyterians will not do it. The Catholics will not do it. The Charismatics will not do it. But in that cathedral, we are told it is supposed to be a place of expression of worship for all. That is a dangerous language, which when we come to the LGBTQ community conversation, you will see how they use such expressions. And so for me, it is the biggest threat to the unity of the body of Christ if we are not careful.
Are you not worried, for example, my final question to you, that within the Christian community, maybe we'll start off with the LGBT matter, within the Christian community, we have a divided front. Those who support the cathedral, ditto, and those who advance the point that you just raised, that, look, we were told it will not cost the state anything. Now it's costing us, so nana dying. And then those who say, that's not what we need at this time. Feed the widows, care for the homeless, the afflicted, the poor, blah, blah, blah. That is the first principle of Christianity. Love your God and then love your neighbor as yourself. So if we have not done that, why are we trying to build, a place that God will not live in? Are you not worried, for example, that this posture of saying the cathedral must not happen if we're going to use state resources and in the manner that is being done may come invariably to affect your fight against LGBTQI?
Oh, as for the fight against LGBTQI, it's not a religious thing. It's a cultural and traditional thing.
But
Religion only coincides with the import of the bill. The bill, you can't legislate religion, but you can legislate culture. And Article 39. There's no provision in our constitution for the legislation of religious beliefs. You get me?
I get you.
So that's why we've been at pain to say that the bill in itself is not coming on the basis of my Christian faith or the Christian faith or Muslim faith of the sponsors. It's coming on the traditional and cultural basis, which we are enjoying. In fact, in Article 39, the state is mandated to make sure that it takes steps to protect our culture and tradition. There is a synergy between what you call religious beliefs and the cultural beliefs of our country as a people. So that is why you see that confluence between the religious and cultural movements. But you see, for those who make the point about supporting this process, like I said, it's based on the premise that they were given from the onset. Many of them feel, for want of being diplomatic, are worried to come back and say that the president lied to them.
Right.
So they would beat around it and in conclave raise issues and say, but that's not what we were told. But then they don't want to speak out. Again, for me, that is the problem of the church. The church must learn to speak out at all times. It must not be only under one government. But you see, Johnny, the issue of even the focus of the church, and he made a very poignant comment about the Catholic Church and its monthly contribution towards the Fairplay University, Catholic University. When you look at the traditional churches today, what is their focus? Even the church as the body of Christ, is not focused on building cathedrals. churches are sitting down and building strategic plans.
Yeah, schools, hospitals.
The strategic plans are to influence the world to get the saving knowledge of Christ through our interventions. The people of Antioch referred to the disciples as Christians for the first time because of their Christ-like behavior. How did Christ behave? Christ did not build temples. Christ took the saving love of Christ, of salvation, to the people. He brought them to a crusade, taught them the word, realized that after giving them the spiritual word, they were physically hungry. He wrought the miracle of feeding the 5,000. He went to a wedding. The people had run out of wine. He turned water into wine. He met the physical needs of the people. When he met the blind, he met the cripple, he met the sick, he healed them. So today, the church's focus is to meet those social needs of the people. When you are able as a church to provide education for a young man or a young woman, it gives you the opportunity to bring him to the saving knowledge of Christ whilst he's in your school. Many people today in this country who go to church may not have even been born into Christian homes. It is as a result of the schools they went to and the assemblies they had and the masses they attended in schools. Today, the people of my constituency, in fact, not my constituency, all the way from North Tong through South Tong, through Adan, Sege, Ningo Prampram, if not for the Bato Catholic Hospital, which has been there for over 40 years, tell me what the state of healthcare delivery in those sectors would have been. So it is those things. Today, all the top archbishops, Archbishop Duncan Williams, Archbishop Charles Ajinasari, Bishop Dag Heward Mills, all of them, Sam Kranchiankra, Apostle General, you know, Eastwood Anaba, they either have hospitals, they either have schools, they have universities. They are doing huge social intervention.
The Anglican Church has a rubber plantation.
Absolutely. Those are the things. The Methodist Church, the Presby Church, Methodist University College is there. The Presbyterian, the Pentecost have their university. Look, they are all beginning to look at those areas. So that is how you influence.
Are you suggesting the government got it wrong?
The government should rather look. When the church begins to step in to do the social intervention that the government is doing, is a testament that the government has failed. Instead of the government to focus on its social intervention and the social needs of the people, the government is trying to do the work of the church, and the church is doing its work and now having to fill in for the government.
Why has the bill delayed? That's my final question to you, and I'll come to Bernard.
Oh, that one. Look, me. No, we're on the bill now.
We're on the bill now.
You see,
the LGBTQ.
On the bill. Me, I'm very careful when I talk about my colleague members of parliament publicly. And for several months, the media has asked me this question, and I've always said, "Oh, it's in the process." But when they say when a ghost wants to shake you, you withdraw your hands.
Right.
Where we are getting to, I have no other option than to call out the chairman of the Constitutional, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs Committee, Honorable Kwame Ayimedu. And I said the other day on another, I think it was your sister network, that it's interesting that he's behaving like a Konongo Kaya. And when you go to in his constituency, is the city of Konongo, the town of Konongo. So because he's the MP for Konongo, he wants to behave like Konongo Kaya. But this one, either he will carry the load to our destination, and I'll bet you he will leave it.
Oh, how?
I'm telling you.
You have lost faith already?
Look, his actions and inactions do not engender trust in his abilities, in us, in his abilities to carry these bills through. And we are making this call to the government because he's a member of the governing side. His actions do not appear to be in sync with the pronouncements of the president and leading members of the NPP.
What do you think is inspiring that?
You should ask him. Ask him why, as chairman of the committee, he on his own single-handedly went to meet with the LGBTQ community and took decisions. Yes. He has a vice chairman who is a member of the NPP, Honorable Ameya Outreme. He had that meeting without his vice chairman. Normally in parliament, when committees are going to meet with interested parties, you do it as leadership. I'm part of leadership of the communication committee.
Right.
When my chairman, Cynthia Mamle Morrison, is going to take a decision, she calls the 4 members of leadership, the chairman, vice chairman, ranking, and deputy ranking. And leadership takes a decision. On the LGBTQ matter, Kwesi Kwame Ayimedoentwi chose to meet with the LGBTQ guys, the LGBTQ plus rights group, specific group. He met them in parliament, in his office in parliament, and chose to take decisions about meeting them in camera without recourse to his vice chairman, without recourse to the leadership of the committee, and without recourse to the committee. And since that meeting, he has decided to slow down and frustrate the bill. The members of his committee, MPP members, I meet MPP members on the committee who say, Charlie, we are trying to get this bill through. We want meetings. Chairman is not calling a meeting. You have NDC members who are complaining. You have members on the floor of the house who are not members of the committee complaining.
Do you suspect he's been compromised?
He has to answer that question. But his actions suggest so.
I hear you.
And so the government, I beg you, the government must bear in mind that if they are not careful, they should not blame the minority side of frustrating their bills in parliament. But we have served notice.
You frustrate how?
Any bill that will be referred to the House from that committee that came to Parliament after the anti-LGBTQ bill came, we will not allow that bill to skip over the anti-LGBTQ bill. So government bills will be put on ice until Ayimedu does what he wants to do. If he thinks he's been compromised and he cannot do what he has to do, he should step aside, let his vice chairman chair the processes, and let the processes continue. For 8 weeks, he has failed to allow the committee work on this bill. The Constitution and our standing orders gave him 3 months to work on the bill. It's been 9 months, 10 months now.
Okay.
It's not worked on it.
Thank you. Bernard Border, these are fallouts from Parliament.
Well, I doubt whether the minority has the capacity to frustrate anything coming from our government.
Why do you say that?
Oh,
we have equal numbers in Parliament.
We saw the Somoto passage of all the ministers, including ministers who could not even define the remit of their ministries. They were all passed and approved by the same parliament. We saw that ministers who were responsible for the Ayawaso West Wagon by-election violence, that he was a victim, all of them were approved without question. You understand? People who visited fiscal harm on people, they were all approved. We saw for the first time that the president decided to stay away a minister for finance nomination for a long time for the speaker, the majority leader to present a budget statement, and subsequently the anointed person of the president had to now become minister for finance. And so a document was presented without his knowledge, and he was to be the one to implement it. We saw recently all the energy we invested in the struggle against the electronic transfers levy, and the less than 3 hours drama that took place in Parliament, and then the purported walkout, and now they are in court. So when we sit where we sit, it appears that the NDC or the minority with 106, with the majority at 169, the minority of 106 was a more potent parliament than the 137 that we have
in the 7th parliament.
Yes. So for me, given all these, it is unthinkable that anything of government will go to parliament and then we will not see the kind of charade.
But they have a firm resolve.
I'm saying that the same charade in the issue of electronic transfer levies, we had a firm result. We even saw Parliament for the first time beat each other in Parliament, an indication that they will not kowtow to the whims and caprices of the ruling party. And like joke, the thing just passed. And here we are, waiting for the court to make a determination. I will not go into my own views of what the court can do. But certainly, where I sit, I have very limited hope in this matter. So I beg you, bro, I'm not sure that, look, you may take this strong position, but you are talking about your colleagues. They don't have the same balls as we are sitting here talking about. So don't become frustrated.
But he's not alone in this fight. He's leading the
Why?
charge.
Was he the only one? Was he the only one? Was he the only one? Do you know the number of MPs that were opposed to the electronic transfer levies because of the impact it will have on them and their constituents? And yet the thing got passed the way it was done. So on that is an issue. Look, LGBTQI, XZ or whatever. Why are we engaged in this? It's part of the modus operandi of that class of people. What do you take an abnormality to be a right? Where I said it's an abnormality. When somebody is sick of COVID, you treat him or her. You don't say that grant the person his right to be sneezing in town. Mm-hmm. You take the person, quarantine the person, and treat the person. A man sees another man's anus and it is penetrating, and you think that is normal?
It's breakfast time. Slow down.
It's normal?
Slow down the
Look,
French.
this is not French. This is English.
It is important for us to make it.
This is English, and I'm speaking directly. If you want me to say it in Dagari or Wale, I will say it so that the people can appreciate. You understand? You can't take your manhood and be trusting into another man's anus. And then you say that it is a right. We should defend it. We should protect it. But I'm not surprised about the comments he's made about his chairman, because remember that when the Speaker of Parliament granted an interview, I think to one of the ambassadors who went to speak to him, and he said, "Look, any other thing, yes, but LGBTQIZ, what? No." This man came and said the Speaker of Parliament is not part of Parliament and cannot take decisions on behalf of Parliament.
That's the chairman of the Select Committee.
That's the chairman of the Select Committee. So from the beginning, he had already shown that he was amenable to some coins.
Oh, that's not fair. That's not.
If it is not, look, we have had, when you belong to a group, you don't go alone when you are invited to go for a program, because that is a danger. And he is not the first timer in Parliament. So when you are the head of a committee and a particular group is calling you, all other groups that want to meet with the Select Committee, they go to Parliament, they meet with the team. Why do you go there alone without your vice chairman? So for me, I think that, look, we have to speak to this issue with the energy that we can command. I was very happy that the National House of Chiefs and many other institutions started speaking openly about it. But I tell you, man trusting your penis in another man's anus is a no and a no.
Are we not worried about diplomatic relations?
What is diplomatic relations? You see, President Mills put it well. And President Uhuru Kenyatta put it even more succinct when Barack Obama visited him and was talking about the issue of expansion of rights and talking about what they can do. And Uhuru Kenyatta said this. Now look, they have issues that confront the Kenyan society. Issues of lack of formal education, issues of lack of access to roads that will ensure that agricultural produce are brought to the people who need them, issues of expanding infrastructure, and that these are the ills of their society. A man sleeping with a man or a woman sleeping or fondling with the breast of another woman is not an issue that the Kenyan people are thinking of at the time. President Akufo-Addo and the government of today should speak the same language to the West.
Come on. This is where we are with the bill.
Great men, great women were noticed not because they were rich, not because they loved money,
right,
and they acquired such wealth or such monies to be described as great men. If you read philosophical history, I mean, the Aristotles, the Sufis, all those people, the Platos and all that, nobody will tell you that they were rich men, but they had wealth which they gave to the world, which enhanced our growth and got us this far. Today, what is the major problem we have as young people seeking to grow and help our communities? It is when you have no money, you are not of importance. You are not in any way invited even to the table to take decisions. The reason why some of these negativities, keep creeping into our society.
You mean LGBT?
Completely. That a young man says that, he sits here and makes an allegation that, look, maybe because of certain actions of one MP or
Right,
some
the chairman
MP,
of the committee.
it could be interpreted to mean he was amenable to some coins,
Right.
which he said wasn't right.
Right.
That is why I have actually started on that tangent. But look, you, my good self, whoever is watching us out there, all that we can listen to or will be ready to listen to, or whoever we are ready to listen to, is somebody who commands money.
Right.
Now, the one who commands money comes to tell that I command money, I have gotten my wealth, I want you to, as it were, get a man and a man marry. Okay? Then I give you all that you need. You say, come. That is our major problem now. But you see, I disagree with my brother Sam George when he says that it's not about religion.
But what is it about?
It was about culture and some
Right, values,
other
African
values
and all of that.
I mean, religion is part of culture. Religion comes out of culture. It's a byproduct of culture. So that is where I disagree with him. But I support him strongly on this in this fight.
Why do you do that?
Strongly. No. That's why I just say that I disagree with him when he said it's not about religion.
Right.
My portion, where I'm coming from, is religious.
Okay.
Okay? Of course, you could look at the values. I'm a Muslim. And the Quran is emphatic on it and explicit on it. Just as some Christians will tell you that the Bible is emphatic, even though to a large extent some have interpretations of such, okay, and still have some churches even, seeking to, legitimize man and a man marrying, okay. I have a problem with that. But the Quran is highly emphatic on it. That is why today you go to Saudi Arabia, you dare not come to Saudi Arabia to say that you want to promote LGBTQ+. It will not.
But we
And not just Saudi Arabia, other Islamic countries.
Go borrowing from these same
But
countries
I am saying that
who have the wherewithal to
it
support
doesn't
most of
matter.
the things
We are a sovereign state. We are a sovereign nation.
A poor
You
sovereign
raise this
nation.
issue about diplomatic ties and
Right,
all that.
right.
Yes, I agree. That's where you are coming from. But first of all, you need to protect what you have before you say, look, no man is an island. No country is an island in this world. US depends on some countries to get, certain reserves in terms of fuel and all that. Okay? Britain also does same. Other bigger countries, they do same. Okay? And I'm saying that we cannot live in isolation as countries. We are a sovereign nation. We have our values. We have our beliefs. We have whatever we believe in. If that is what we believe in, allow us to be. But this argument of trying to get some people impose certain cultures to us, when in fact it's alien to us, we need to resist it.
To the
We need
point
strongly
where
resist
now
it. But
billboards have been mounted. We know of the office or home that was raided by the securities that wanted to be a shelter, whatever it is. So you see a certain concerted effort, either at one point or the other, this whole conversation about comprehensive sexuality education. So it keeps coming up at some point.
that is why
the resistance is tough, but it keeps coming up.
You see, subtly, you are doing what Sam George did subtly, and you're also doing the same when you raise it that way. Subtly, Sam George sought to say that, look, Parliament will resist or frustrate bills of government based on this bill, where I thought it was quite low for me. Because, one, if you are alleging that a chairman of a particular committee is not living up to expectation, okay, you do not set to say that just merely because he's a member of the political party that forms government today, then it means that it is indirectly the government that is pushing him to frustrate the bill.
But government has taken things to Parliament and insisted that it be passed on the certificate of emergency. There's a tall list.
Bear in mind, government didn't take this bill to Parliament.
Why? Well, yes, I know.
It's not
But it's a private member's bill. But does government associate itself with it?
No, of course.
Government associate
you sat
itself
here and mentioned in Team Fojo.
Right.
It's not part of government.
Right.
You mentioned it. And I'm saying that let us not create an impression out there that the government of the day has even a hand in whatever we call delay. Yes, the legislature is a legislature and it's prescribed in our constitution, clear. That is why we have this separation of powers. Your work is your work. And I agree with my brother very well when he says that, look, if there's some frustration that we have seen in the work of that committee, of course we should address it.
But you should be
But to a large extent, when we want to say
concerned.
that the only way we can get this bill passed and create an impression out there that we are going to frustrate government bills, that is how we can get this passed, that's unfortunate.
You should be concerned
That's
about
very
it.
unfortunate.
You should be concerned and worried.
I am concerned about what?
That they have served notice, even though Bernard
I am concerned that I told
they
you
don't have the capacity to do that.
I 100% support what Sam George and his brothers are doing. I am part of the people who would help him advocate against this particular, menace. I am not in support
you
of
see
it.
it as a menace.
And of course, for me, that is something that is coming to devour our culture, devour our moral standing. Okay, it's coming to destroy us. That is not proper. I support it. But I'm saying again that in my support that I gave, I would not like us to draw or rope in the government of the day when in fact there is no even hardcore evidence that points to the fact that government is not interested in the bill. That's not what it is. If the chairman of the committee, the president spoke about it. If the chairman of the committee is not doing what is right,
what did the president say?
There's no enough groundswell.
The president, after all this argument came that he said there was no groundswell and blah, 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 he came back again.
And
you've forgotten of that one. And said what?
It's bound to happen.
He came back.
And said it will not happen.
And said it will not happen under his watch. He said it.
Anglican Church.
You forgot it?
Right.
He said it.
So
and that is where you people don't want to. You wouldn't like to extol that. You wouldn't say that. You want to say, oh, he said this. But I'm saying the president came back to give clarity that not under his watch that will this happen.
It's been
and I'm also
2
saying,
years, right?
With all respect, you see, this is a fight that we should not politicize.
But it's been 2 years.
You have a role to play. Right. Mona has a role to play. My brother has a role to play. I do have a role to play. So. We are protecting our society. Where we try to rope in, my president of MPP said this, president of NDC said, we will be defeated. And that's how come we are defeated. Well, I mean,
so put your money where your mouth is. 2 years on, what is the commitment beyond words? Factor non-verbal.
What I do know is that a fight of this nature doesn't take a day to end. That is why I premise my submission on the fact that the lust for money is what is getting us where we are today. My brother Sam George could be doing the right thing, I could be doing the right thing. But the fact that somebody who is vulnerable and gullible and could easily be swayed by money, who is supposed to have supported us, is actually compromised, then we have a difficulty.
I hear you.
So the point I want to make is that the young men, the largesse of the world, those beautiful things that we see, not all that glitters is gold. Let us please be content with the little we have and work morally to achieve more than to say that you need this, you need that, and anyhow I want to make it, then you go
and be lured into it.
It's a serious matter.
Right.
Just
quickly, so we move on. We have limited time.
I just want to say a very big thank you to the state authorities.
Okay.
We were at the site yesterday.
On the motorway. And asked that the billboard be pulled down in 24 hours. We realized that within about 12 hours of us, in fact, less than 12 hours of us leaving there, about 8 hours later, the billboard was pulled out. Okay.
Whether it is the municipal assembly, we were told by the municipal assembly that they did not give permits for that.
I've heard Mr. Dazi also say that if they had given permits from the AAG, would have had a sign there.
So the Advertisers Association say they didn't give permit. The assembly says they didn't give permit. People may wonder how the billboard will come out. We know if you're in the advertising space, you know there are guru billboards.
That's right.
And all of that people just erect. But I want to.
That's it.
Yes, that's it. Right. That's it now. It's been pulled down.
Okay.
And so for me, when the right thing is done, I will give you credit.
Right.
And so to the assembly, we want to say thank you.
You also spoke to the member of parliament, Honorable
Lydia Alassan. Right. And she, because as at 5 p.m. it was still up there. And then I called Honorable Lydia Alassan and said, Honorable, you are a leader in parliament. And that is where the parliament and government bit comes in that Kamaldeen doesn't get. The member in question, the chairman, is chairman because the party, through its leadership, made him chairman. So you can withdraw him if his actions are going to hurt government. And that is the same way when a call was made to a leader of the house, in whose constituency this billboard was. She said to me, Honorable, before God and man, I'm unaware that this was going on in my constituency. Thank you for drawing my attention to it. And with all credit to Lydia, within an hour of my call to her, she said she was going to call her MC. The billboard was taken down. And that's why I'm saying that government, because you own and control the machinery of state, can take action as and when you want
to.
You see, that is where my brother's comment comes in. That look, he's not even sure that the minority and the majority are ready and have the capacity. You see, you are a member of parliament. You are so strong and you have the balls, like he rightly put it. we expect both minority and majority to come out firmly and strongly, including even the speaker, who is not even a member.
You are not saying that.
Let us. I am saying that
we are where we are today.
We expect them.
If not for the speaker, we would have gotten
so to blame,
admitting
the bill.
So Johnny, to make a point that an MP is coming from the MPP. I'm saying to make a point that an MP is coming from the MPP fold, which forms government. Of course, his actions and inactions could be emanating from that angle. For me, I see it as a non-starter. Again, I'm saying the minority have a role to play as well. All of you.
I want to celebrate.
I've never heard a minority leader on this matter.
He has.
I've not heard. Well, I want to hear them. I want to hear them more. Let Haruna
Muntaka, they have spoken forcefully on this matter.
Chimenza has not spoken.
I think Che has as well. Okay. You understand? As well spoken on this matter. But you see, what I want to see is the kind of hunger that the Honorable Muntaka Mubarak brings to this table. Okay. You understand me?
Okay.
And let me celebrate Mr. Speaker.
Okay.
If not for Mr. Speaker's resolve, the bill in itself would not even have been admitted.
Okay.
Because the Australian High Commissioner, who has been withdrawn by his country because of his activities in Ghana, actually petitioned the Speaker that he wanted the Speaker to take punitive measures against me. And the Speaker wrote to him and openly in the glare of the media reprimanded the ambassador and said, stay in your country, don't come here and come and dictate to us.
Thank you.
Isn't it interesting that polygamy is frowned upon, but
in the West, and then
it's very interesting. Isn't that interesting?
The importation is being brought here.
Isn't that interesting? The Bernard will not have space in some other countries.
I hear you.
Bernard will not have space in some other countries.
Let's quickly.
Polygamy is frowned upon.
I take strong exception to the two of you mentioning Bella's name. Bella, there she's.
I didn't mention Bella. I said Bella.
She only get wings by Edem Agbana.
Oh, Bella's serious.
I'm protecting my party member.
I am surprised that you both come here to fight over my girls. I am protecting my ladies, Bella, Cookie, Helen. I'm protecting all my girls here. But let's wrap up this conversation. Our time is up. 1 minute each. Today's National Tree Planting Day, Green Ghana Day. What are your thoughts?
I think it's a good idea to plant trees. Those of us who like foresty areas, you want to see trees being planted. And just recently, if you know the Upper West Regional Coordinating Council, you see a lot of neem trees there.
Right.
You go there, the trees have all been cut down, making the place look very ugly. Whoever instrumented the cutting of those trees around the RCC did a disservice to the people of Ghana. Under President Achampong, we had Operation Feed Your Forest.
Right.
And people were taught in school, Operation Feed Your Industry, Operation Feed Your Forest, Operation Feed Yourself. All those things happened. And if you go along most of the major routes from Laura and Tumu areas, you see that you see mahogany trees being planted along the roads so as to prevent the wind from causing a lot of havoc. We have destroyed our forest for a considerable period of time. It is time for us to reforest it. And I support the call by the Ministry for Lands and Natural Resources to see that we are able to plant trees. I have been doing mine even before they can talk about it, and I think that we should support it. There are difficulties, particularly if you want to juxtapose that with what we want to do at Achimota Forest. But let's put the Achimota Forest difficulties aside. Let's go out today and go and plant the trees. And then we'll come back and discuss the issues of the deforestation that the government, by its own actions, have embarked on.
I hear you. Sam?
Well, I think that any attempt to reforest our country is a good step, and that the Green Ghana initiative is a worthwhile one. I mean, any initiative that can get Parliament to suspend sitting. Last year, Parliament did not sit on the Green Ghana Day, and this year, today, Parliament is not sitting.
Right.
That tells you how important it is to Parliament and how we view it. We're not sitting because we want to encourage everyone and get involved in the tree planting. Mr. Speaker, yes. In the past few months, a question has been asked. The ministers had to come and account. He's told us that 80% of the trees that were planted survived, even though that is yet to be independently verified. Right. But he spoke under oath in Parliament. I want to take it that he gave us the facts as he would always do. And so for me, today, Mr. Speaker is going to lead the process in Parliament himself. he's going to be, the announcement was made yesterday that today all parliamentary staff and national service personnel will need to join Mr. Speaker in planting trees in Parliament. I only have a little suggestion to make.
Before you go on, the tree the Speaker planted last year in Parliament, has it survived?
I will not be in a position to answer yes or no because I haven't checked.
You haven't checked.
So that I don't lie.
Right.
But the point I just wanted to make was that would it not be important if this year we're doing 20 million trees? If we even decided that 10 or 15 million of those trees, we're going to focus on 5 regions, just 5 regions out of the 16, and pick specific areas where we're going to create new forests. And so in each of these 5 regions, we're putting 3 million trees in a specific geographic location to create a kind of ecological buffer.
So you can monitor.
So you can monitor. Because you see, when you spread it across the country, like we're doing, everything spread, and you don't have the concentrated ones. Even monitoring and being able to help them survive. If it is in a small area and is put in the care of the Forestry Commission to groom over the next year, it is in one location. But when it is spread all over the place, some will survive, some because of lack of monitoring. And then so you realize that if we did 5 regions over 4 years, you would have done all the 16 regions. And you'd have had those
I
places.
subscribe to this idea because in 2018 I planted trees with a gentleman called Nana Yaosei Dako of the Green Republic.
Green Republic, yeah.
He has a plan to plant 20 million trees by 2028. We will plant the trees in Sang, in the northern region, Yong,
Dakpamyele, yeah.
And the chief at the time, Dachema bless his soul, and then he gave us lands to plant trees.
Yeah.
And he asked us to plant the trees at one place. Now the rainfall patterns, I'm told, in those areas have improved. Air quality of air, and now there's
because then you've created a mini ecological zone.
Some small
but it's just interesting. I mean, like Bernard said, as we plant trees, we are selling the forest.
Well, but this year we have a plan to plant 10 million trees in the forest reserves and 10 million across the country. That's the distinction.
Johnny.
Yes.
That tree you sit under today to enjoy its shade was planted by someone.
That's right.
Or by nature.
Or by nature. Give me that. But was actually planted in our cities, either by nature or somebody thought of you.
Deliberately did it. Yeah.
That today you'll be sitting to enjoy the shade of that tree and planted that tree. Have that at the back of your mind and be a very good citizen. Especially those of us from the northern part of Ghana, where desertification is creeping in. Okay? My point here is that my brother gives a suggestion about this clustering, kind of trying to create artificial forests or forests as it were. I support it. But of course, departments like Parks and Gardens, Forestry Commission, can there be a collaboration? Can government, beyond even planting 20 million trees, that everybody goes out, I've planted a tree, consciously say that, look, Parks and Gardens, Forestry Commission, let's come together. All these plants or trees that we have actually planted under YEA model, can we have, say, 1,000 young men recruited?
But you already have
with all respect, no, I'm just, let me make a point, please. I know. I'm just saying, even if we have, well, let us try to be conscious about it.
But I'm saying,
can we then
why
say,
would you want
please,
to recruit new hands when you already have youth in afforestation?
even if we do, fine. If we have that, then fine. Channel their efforts, their energies. Let Parks and Gardens and then Forestry Commission work with them strongly. Monitor that all these trees that have been planted, we're giving you 6 months to nurture. Maybe one young man is giving 6 trees. Or also, then all these people are put to work. And I tell you, the monitoring bed that we're talking about would actually come to fruition. I have always said that, look, departments like Parks and Gardens and all that, recently I've seen that they're going around town trying to say that they're beautifying all that. They were a bit not seen.
Money no day. It's a money problem.
Sometimes it's not all about
money.
It's about how you push.
Parks and Gardens, their office near
sometimes it's about how you push. So we can push it.
We've sold the Parks and Gardens land. The Parks and Gardens garden has been sold.
We have to go. We'll cross over to the tree planting venue.
You sold the Parks and Gardens.
But see, it's leadership
expecting it to do well.
Right.
You actually have to prepare the place
for
a number of these.
You sold the Parks and Gardens.
But Kamal, have you noticed something? when you bring a good idea, you see the support that we have given to the whole exercise. So when you bring a vulgar idea and we are not supporting it, have ears to listen.
What's the vulgar idea?
The president
Sam, we have to go. The NDC is 30.
It's a president.
Okay.
Wait. The
NDC is 30. We are wrapping up.
NDC is 30.
PNC is 32.
So wait, let me talk.
So let me hear you.
Today we have a program at Nat Hall.
MPP
to sell it. Oh wait.
MPP is also 30.
Oh, allow.
I do have a program
Can we
today.
NDC is 30?
Do you have a program
Can we
today?
make progress? Can we make progress?
The NDC is 30 today.
Right.
We are celebrating across the country. At this morning, Greater Accra, we are meeting at Nat Hall to think and take stock of 30 years. Today, you have a democracy. Thanks to the antecedents of the NDC, and the NDC has contributed its fantastic quota, to the development of this country. And those indemnity clauses are what President Akufo-Addo used to fly. That's what he used to fly private jets. And so the NDC is re-strategizing to come back to power to fix the mess.
No.
Thank you very much. Sam Jatta George is the member of parliament for the Ningo Pram constituency. Bernard Mona is a former chairman of the PNC. PNC is also
new petrol prices.
MPP, PNC was formed in 92.
Okay.
MPP was formed in 92. NDC was formed in 92.
Okay.
So the three political parties are 30.
Okay. The NDC is talking national development.
Okay, MPP is also 30. If you are 30, happy birthday to you today. Happy birthday also to today. Happy birthday to Mugabe Mase. It's your birthday today. Edith Plofia, Jerry Ajay, and Emmanuel Ayikome, General Nasio, Deputy Constituency Organizer at Tema Central. This from Anthony Nukpenu of the NDC. Happy birthday also to Lydia Clu Duvo of Tema. God bless you. This from Roland Walker. A happy birthday also to Mr. Edwin Ayite, General Manager of Akosobo Hotels Limited. If it's your birthday as well, happy birthday and congratulations to Dr. Deacon Kingsford Kwame Hine and Stephanie Safo Abaka Akwa. You're getting married tomorrow, Saturday, the 11th of June at the Wesley Methodist Cathedral, Idum Kumasi. And we will be there, hopefully, to support you. Thanks to Bernard Mona. He is a former chairman of the PNC. Sam Jatta George. He is a member of parliament for the Ningo Pram constituency. Kamal Dean Abdullahi. He is a former national Nasara coordinator of the NPP, and also presently he is the deputy communications director of the NPP. He is also spokesperson for Mr. Stephen Intim, was tried to be chairman over the years, but I'm told that so Kamal. That's why Kamal is wearing white. Ms. Kofi Abel, good morning to you, and congrats to Chairman Intim and all those who picked their form yesterday. Charles, bless you, everybody else who picked their forms. We'll see you after the break. Let's go here.